So we've got aforementioned Gavin McKenna, draft crush of Z's, Berkeley Catton, my new favorite Gopher edition, Matthew Wood. Second line's Easton Cowan, Callum Ritchie, Bradley Nadeau. Third line, Carson Rakoff, Braden Yeager, who should be much higher on this list, being a Penguin, and Beckett Seneke. And then fourth line, Denver Barkey, that's Jet Luchenko and Caden Lindstrom. Blue line is Tanner Molendijk and Oliver Bonk. Second pair is Sawyer Minyo. I'm not sure. I actually have never heard of this player, but he's a Canucks prospect, so I'm sure Isha has no idea how to pronounce it. Zane Parak. Last pairing, Sam Dickinson, Carter Yakimchuk. Goalies, Scott Ratzlaff, Carter George. They have extras listed here, but I'm sure Wild fans are very aware of one player that's missing from this group. Z, care to weigh in on that?
Yeah, listed as an extra, Riley Heidt. So it's always tough to gauge because, especially with Team Canada, it felt like this a couple of years ago for sure. Actually, no, last year for sure. There are certain tournaments, certain World Juniors tournaments where it feels like they really kind of galaxy brain it and they try to just build the most like NHL-esque roster. And a lot of that means that some top guys who probably are some of the better players in this age group in Canada, like, get left off, and Riley Heidt obviously fits that mold. I guess I can kind of understand some of it. But he should have been on that roster last year. He literally only improved as the year went on. And I still think he probably, and again, like, this is just like a projection. So like we have several months. And I mean, I guess a lot of it depends how, like, what this first couple of months looks like for Riley Heidt as well. It seems like a fucking big swing and a miss. And I mean, I look at that second line and I actually do understand, like, Easton Cowan getting in because he was one of the best players in the OHL, if not the best player in the OHL last year. Only continue that in the playoffs. The one that's interesting to me is a guy like Bradley Nadeau, who is just a pure raw sniper. I mean, I think you can probably get that and a little bit more with a guy like Riley Heidt. And then, you know, after that, you can kind of understand why they wouldn't want to put a guy like Riley Heidt maybe in their bottom six, because you're probably just not getting what he does best down there. And they try to build it more like an NHL roster, and try to balance it. So I can understand, like, the bottom six selections there. But again, I just look at it. I don't know how you don't end up putting Riley Heidt on this team. We'll see. And I mean, who knows? Maybe Heidt makes the Wild out of camp and they don't even want to send him anyways. So that would be probably, I guess, best case if he's going to be off this roster. But I just look at it and, like, I don't know how you don't put Riley Heidt here. It's crazy to me.
Do you think that age is a factor? Like, do you think if he was a year younger doing what he's doing, he would be much more likely to be in?
I mean, it's possible, but I mean, he's the same age as, like, a kid. Like, I mean, he got in the same draft as Cowan, Ritchie, Nadeau. Like, he's the same age as a lot of these guys.
I'm not saying that he's not. I'm saying, is that a reason that a younger guy is maybe getting in over him? Like, okay, straight up, who should be in, him or Beckett Seneke? Pure talent.
You'd probably throw Seneke there.
Yeah. So not relevant then. I don't know. My point was, like, there's some guys here that are more recent draftees, and maybe they want to get them in because they want to have some repeat guys to throw in as veterans and future World Juniors, right?
Yeah, I mean, I would say that probably, yeah, that makes sense to me. And again, like, if you're throwing Riley Heidt in there, he's going to be in your top six. He's going to be one of your go-to offensive guys. So, again, that's where I just kind of question. I mean, the one that, again, the big standout for me is having a guy like Bradley Nadeau there over Riley Heidt. So
Yeah, that one feels weird.
Mm-hmm.
And,
but maybe maybe they wanted that pure sniper there.
Jaeger needs to be higher up the lineup. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, there you go. First line.
No, I'll let Berkeley Catton have that one.
Beautiful.
It's that Caliber.
What a hockey player. What a hockey player, Berkeley Catton. One guy that's not listed here that when I look at it, sometime that I could go back and forth. I'm surprised like Ben Danford isn't in the mix here, the Toronto Maple Leafs first round pick. Big right shot D-man, really good two-way, solid defender that can give you some offense too. And we talked about it at the start of this, where they tend to really try to build this like they're building an NHL team. I still would have probably had Ben Danford in here. I mean, you look at like I get that these NHL teams like love a kid like Oliver Bonk. I would have probably had Ben Danford there. And like to me, with Melendek, the mobility, and Danford's like defensive ability, I think that would be. I mean, I don't even know if they actually like put these constructed these lines like this intentionally or whatever. But
I gotta imagine
Ben Danford seems like probably. And the Sawyer Minio kid, he plays with Parekh in Saginaw, so that probably weighs in there, I guess. But Ben Danford does seem like a interesting player to leave off this team. So, but a couple big omissions up front, like Tija Ginla, Andrew Cristall, Tanner Howe. Like Tanner Howe would have been a really good bottom six option too. But again, I actually like Canada's bottom six here. Like I love those. That's a fucking phenomenal group of players. So I can understand that too. But again, the big guys that really stand out that are not listed here would be Riley Heidt as listed as the extra, but then Ben Danford, a really solid defenseman. So, interesting.